It's the book of 1 John chapter 5 and verse 19. Well, I'm gonna start at verse 18. I'm gonna start at verse 17. Salakia. It's the book of 1 John chapter 5 verse 17, and reads, all unrighteousness is sin, and there is a sin not unto death. We know that whosoever is born of the Most High sinneth not, but he that is begotten of the Most High keepeth himself, and that wicked one toucheth him not. Verse 19, the point. And we know that we are not, and we know that we are of the Most High, or of the power. We are of power, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to called Loyam, by Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem. I say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, teach and do rule well. I say peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and freedom to do so, now more so than ever. I say shalom to the Akim and the Aqua, thought to listen and learning, Lord, willingly. This was edifying, or this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. It's your brother Yahweh Sap out of GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant. Coming at you another lesson through the spirit and through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And basically, this is a lesson I've been meant to, pretty much I was inspired by a lesson from, I forgot what camp this brother is in. But he's, be in the spirit, he's an elder. I know his channel's GMS upon precepts. And I want to say Nebraska or something, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, I'll be following the elder brother, and they were doing a lesson, and he made a statement in there, or somebody made a statement about a particular individual that's mentioned throughout society, but a lot of people don't, delve into matters and don't understand what they're, what's going on. So, people will think that you might not be wicked because you don't understand what you're participating in, but by participation alone, that's wickedness. Scriptures talk about following out a multitude to do evil. So, with that being said, it just caught my attention, so I want to do a lesson, but I don't want to be getting a copyright, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this copyright disclaimer, because I know brothers ain't really gonna, try to get you struck, but at the same time, it's really be Esau, you know what I'm saying? And I got a copyright. I got a copyright.
Looks like I just she's a Hertz Gold Plus Rewards member.
Strike, I guess, from using, a brother's, piece or part of his video. So this is the Fair Use Act, or the Copyright Act 1976. Fair use, section 107. I'm not about to make my money off of this. I'm just using it in order to, preach and read the scriptures. So with that being said, let me find this.
I want to add something real quick, and this is why, as you were saying, priest, everything, the morals of these people are getting worse. Things are getting more demonic. The music, the television, the movies, the people. All right, the things. Sin and transgression is glorified in the society. You see that? So when you understand it, you understand why people are the way that they are. All right? I got something real quick I wanted to add in there. All right? This is Isaiah 60:2. And it reads, it says, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. You see that? It says, but the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. Now the point where it said that gross darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people, right? And when you go into that word darkness, it goes into wickedness, sin, and transgression, around those lines. It's just showing you that the state of the people has waxed worse, right? So as he's breaking this down, you're seeing those demonic effects on these people get gradually worse,
And that's the point. But none of this is new. You got to remember in the scriptures, in the days of Noah, when you go in chapter Noah, Salakia, chapter I said Noah, Genesis chapter 6, it talks about much violence was on the earth, and this, witchcraft, sorcery, the depravity, this is nothing new. It's just compounded in this wicked ass place because America or Babylon the Great is a mixture of these different wicked kingdoms all balled up in one.
Definition of what you're saying so that listeners can understand what you're saying. So before you call, I think that I just want to go into the word diabolical real quick. And I'm on the line. Diabolical means pertaining to the devil, being befitting the devil. So the world has become more diabolical. This world has been fitted to worship this God, which is the God of this world is sacred. You know, so that's why you read Isaiah 60. All right, because this world has become, engrossed in gross darkness, man. Everything about this world is dark. You look at the people. Everybody outside of the truth, their countenance has a dark vibration to it. These people have a negative, a vibe to them. They're doing all types of wicked, demonic acts. Adultery, murder, all types of, different shit, man. Because these people are giving over the demons. Right.
Yep. And all that shit is pushed heavily on social media. Like you said, you see, so-called cheating and adultery pushed heavily, man. It's glorified.
Okay, so Salakia, because, I don't recall all of this, and all this is good and juicy, it's beautiful, but it's a specific point that I want to bring out, so bear with me.
The attitude and the spirit, you said that because I was watching an interview yesterday dealing with that rapper Ab-Soul. And a few years back, he had dropped an album called Do It Without Real. And there was, interview on like, why did you name that album that? It was like, just going into the research of music. Aleister Crowley, he has a very influential background in music. And it was like when he went into it, he said it captivated him, man. He was influenced off of how heavy Aleister Crowley's influence is throughout, history.
But what that bug out damn near do? He tried to jump off a bridge and kill himself. Look at the byproduct of what you niggas are involving yourselves with.
Show's harmless. I remember the movie Harry Potter, that series, and I looked at it like it was harmless. I mean, of course, I'm in the world at that time, but it was some witchcraft on that movie, because that movie actually pretty much had the minds of adults. You got grown ass people that was dressing up like Harry Potter. And I remember, I'll never forget, my sister, I try and tell her about the truth, but she's always been in the Bible. And I remember telling her about this movie or something about the movie or something happened about that movie. And she was like, no, that she wouldn't want to watch it and she not into it. And, I looked at it like, well, over righteous and all this different shit back then. But she was absolutely correctly in the proper spirit, So I'm going to bring out a little bit about this guy, Aleister Crowley. And it says, born Edward Alexander Crowley, he is primarily known for his occult writings and teachings. He founded the religion of Thelema, which became adopted by the Ordo Templis Orientis, or OTO, as well as the magical order of Argentinum Astrum, the Order of the Silver Star. He was also a highly controversial member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, where he was known by, it says, they name him the most wickedest man in the world. I was trying to find it. Maybe I'm not going to be able to find it. But it says the wickedest man in the world. And, he was off into a lot of pedophilia. They also actually say, I don't know how true it is, but I've heard things like pretty much he's related to, or pretty much like his granddaughter was I think Barbara Bush. And when you look at, she, what they would call that, a handsome woman, she looked like a fucking man, you know what I mean? And look at him, so, you know what I mean? But, this dude was a weirdo freak. And he does have a very powerful influence on the music industry. I forgot what year, matter of fact, I'm going to look it up. I forgot where I got, committed some rituals, and at the end of the day, Motown Records and all that, and I'm not saying that they had any involvement with him, but he laid a foundation there. The world is completely steeped in witchcraft. That's why the scriptures talk about the world life in wickedness. But and those that have the eyesight of the sea, we see these things. It's the book of well, I'm gonna get this. This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 4, and it reads, in whom the, well, let me read up. I'm going to start at verse 1. 2 Corinthians 4 and 1. Therefore, seeing we have this ministry as we have received mercy, we faint not. Because we were once in the world. We once were not privy to these things, but the Lord opened our spiritual eye, the eye salve. He gave us his wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual understanding. So we see things that we once didn't. And or like me myself, it was certain things I knew about in the world that I didn't understand why I knew, but correlate with the truth. So the Lord uses whom he uses for whatever reason he uses, because it tells you in the book of Sirach chapter 18, he governed the world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey all things obey him. Roughly paraphrased. It says, but have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, not walking in craftiness, nor handling the word of the Most High deceitfully. And that's the spirit, because I normally don't go into, these false prophets and teachers and these, individuals preaching for filthy lucre's sake. But we getting close to the end, you know what I mean? Like, these things got to be called out, because, at the end of the day, these men got a lot of blood on their hands. And what if you could be, utilized by Yahweh Shem Yahushua to, if you just gain one person, because at the end of the day, who want to be misled? Who want to, it's already hard enough, but you got individuals purposely misleading people. Like, they got a special judgment, like the elder, Apostle Tahar, the beloved elder, said. Like, the Lord got something really specially planned for a demon like that. It says, but by manifestation of the truth, commending ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of the Most High. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. Because everybody's not going to get this, You got the elect and you got the 2/3. And that's why, everybody is not. And that's the way the Lord set it up. Everybody's not meant. You got to understand the elect. The elect are chosen. Everybody ain't going to be a lottery winner. Everybody ain't going to get this truth, because the elect are like those special spirits that were, pretty much like chosen by the Most High, that were going to, throughout all the things that are going to take place, they're going to believe and pretty much resist. I came across this new word following this motivational video, and the word was indomitable. And when you go into that word, it's unconquerable. And the thing is, we're conquered by Yahweh Shem Yahushua, Yahweh meaning he is, or he exists, or he to be, by Hashem meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai meaning he saves, or he deliverer, in the Paleo Hebrew. We are conquered by him, but we won't be conquered by this fucked up ass world. Scriptures talk about, Yahweh Shai said, I have overcome the world, so, and basically, like, those that follow him, those that are of his elect, they shall too, because, overcome is to be a champion. Verse 4, the point, and it says, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. The Lord got these people blind. I mean, it's Shantan, the spiritual demon Satan, the adversary, but ultimately is the deceiver, but ultimately is Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Least the light of the glorious gospel of Mashiach, who is the image of the Most High, should shine onto them. Scriptures talk about pretty much, I'm trying to think, I don't want to butcher it, but it talks about how pretty much how Yahweh Shai, he would have to heal them if they got it. I don't feel like looking it up, but it's a scripture talk about how pretty much, like, for, if they was to get it, he would have to forgive them and heal them. There's certain people meant to not get it to be judged. It's another scripture in what's that? Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 2, and it reads, well, I'm gonna start at verse 1, and it reads, and you, Ephesians 2 and 1, and you hath he quickened, meaning awakened, who were dead in trespasses and sins, which we all were, before we came into the wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual understanding of the truth. That's why, that's why this thing is so glorious, because the Lord could have kept us asleep. Verse 2, where in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, because we all were blinded by the glorious light. We didn't see it, we didn't understand it, we didn't even know it, until the Lord chose to open our eyes to it, because we were in subjection to this world. According to the prince of the power of the air. Who is the prince of the power of the air? The spiritual demon Shantan. It's a beautiful analogy, or a beautiful I can't think of the word to use, but pretty much when you go into that's how this so-called white man, this red Hebrew Edomite, is the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. Because when you go into like flight, who created or who took the first actual flight, the Wright brothers, two Edomites, you know what I mean? Was Jacob? I think that was Esau, because the scriptures talk about Jacob is the former of all things, but also it's certain things that Esau was meant to create. He has the power of certain things, power of destruction and the power of flight. Because he's the prince of the power of the air. And when you go in order to be a pilot, no matter what country you live in, no matter what nationality, you have to understand and know English. So, man, I always took that like, damn, the Lord code. But it says, where in time past he walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience, which is 2/3 of our people. And this is nothing new, you know what I mean? Like, this witchcraft sorcery is nothing new. This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2, and verse 2. But those that have been given this eye salve, we are aware what the Lord got going on, because the Most High, it tells you in the book of Isaiah chapter 45 verse 7, the Most High create the good and the evil, he make darkness and light. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11, and it reads, least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We understand that the world is steeped off in witchcraft, and that's why it's so important to be basically hidden in this secret place of the Most High. When you look at some of these advertisements, when you look at some of this symbology, what I mean, you got logos for companies that's witchcraft. You go to Starbucks, you could go to McDonald's, all these different things. But this is 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 4. Salakia. We'll start up. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 2. But I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence wherewith I think to be bold against some which think of us as if we walked according to the flesh. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of the Most High, and bringing into captivity every thought to the and bringing in captivity every thought to the obedience of a Mashiach. These people, these demons, these Edomites, they basically create a society where they think they're going to actually become God-like through technology, and they're going to pretty much X out Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. You've even heard that devil Noah Hurel Harari make statements like that. We don't need the God of the Bible and all this shit. And this man's supposed to be Jewish, showing you that these people are not the people. But our warfare. What's that? 2 Timothy chapter 2 talks about a soldier of Yahushua. We are in a spiritual battle, and it's doing nothing but increasing. Scriptures talk about in the book of Ecclesiastes, a time for war and a time for peace. If you can't recognize what all is going on, and if you think you're still in the war, a time of peace, then yeah, the Lord, you probably fuel for the fire. I know that's mentioned in Isaiah a few different times. And I mentioned like how the elder broke down that America's a one big altar, and what an altar normally do? It's burned. So, if you fuel for the fire, then you fuel to be burnt on this altar. This is the book of, and Babylon the Great is the great nation of whoredoms. It says, this is the book of Nahum chapter 3 and verse 4, because the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot. When you go into Revelation chapter 13, the harlot that's set on the scarlet colored beast. That's America, because the beast is NATO and the EU and all those collaborations of Edomite nations. And America truly controls them. That's why Americans can say, I'm going to sanction this company, and I'm going to select this country and this country. They sanction Russia, which are other Edomites. They sanction Moab, which are the Chinese. Financially trying to, put them in check. It's a system of control. But, I was watching Redacted, and that guy Clayton Morrison was saying pretty much how America seized a lot of Russian assets, and gave them to Ukraine. Well, Russia seized a lot of American assets, and pretty much they've already tried to come up with this whole BRICS currency. And pretty much when they make the dollar obsolete, when they no longer use it, that's going to affect this place more than anybody. Anything else. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts that selleth nations through. That's the spirit. This dude like. Because motherfuckers fucked up. Like I say, and that's how it's gonna be a lot of civil unrest. When people are in an economic bind, you have a lot of crime and death, and and people don't even understand the purpose of those purge movies. Like they say art imitates life. Because they hoping that they're hoping, they call it a great calling. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot. When you take time to think about it, these people literally brought over millions of people that they can barely take care of the population that live here. So what the fuck you gonna do when you got all these people that is over here that they're taking care of while you got Americans that are struggling? What do you think about to happen? Why do you think they keep on promoting a civil war? They talking about if Donald Trump go to jail, they gonna tear this bitch up. And if you don't believe that, then you are slow. It says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot. Donald Trump said we gonna go invade the Capitol, and they did that shit. That nigga like the supreme warlock of the motherfucking nation. It says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts, through her philosophies. This place is the place that pushes homosexuality on a worldwide scale. And that's why the Lord gonna come judge this place. The book of Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 10. Look, they need money. I ain't got the money for it right now, but remind me later. This is the book of Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 10, and it reads, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Let's go into this word wiles, because again, the closer we get to the end, the more and more satanic everything's going to get. Word wiles.
Strong's G 3180. Methodiah.
It said cunning arts, deceit, craft, trickery. The Lord allows Satan to run you through different trials and tribulations, different tests. That's the wiles of Shantan, Satan. But ultimately, they are tests of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And all of us, our tests are set up differently. Verse 12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and have done all to stand. Stand therefore. That's why, scriptures talk about this being a race, and in the race you give all your all, that's why, like the elder always be talking about people burning out and whatnot, you know what I mean? Like, you got to pace yourself, because this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. But at the same time, you got to give it your all, especially at the last end of the race. And we at the last end, If you can't see we at the end, the scriptures talk about in Peter, the end is nigh, meaning near. You can see it. Like, pretty much the scriptures talk about how this place is going to, the fall of this place. And literally, when you can see what the scriptures is literally saying, then literally, we at the end. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, and you're gonna need that faith. Because faith without works is dead. You know what I mean? You're going to need faith. Without faith, you cannot please him. It says, above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. Verse 17, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High. And that's the easiest breakdown in that, because the sword of the Spirit is the word. It tells you, where's that in Hebrews? Talk about pretty much the word of the Most High is like a two-edged sword, piercing to the dividing asunder a soul and spirit. The word of the Lord can cut. You can say a scripture that'll cut a nigga or a demonic bitch, and then they cut you at the same time and convict you. That's how deadly this word. But like the elder of Taza Power, he used to, he say shit. Gotta know how to wield it as well. Verse 18, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto that all perseverance and supplication for all the saints. And for me, that utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel. And that's our job. Our job as watchmen is to warn and to preach this truth. The scriptures talk about spreading this good news, because it's, this thing is fucked up to a degree, but it's great because, like I said, we go through and catch hell on a constant daily, some brothers daily basis, but at the same time, what's good about it is because we understand, it's just like, for instance, if you was in prison, but you knew that eventually you was going to be released. You got people that don't got a release date, or you got people that, but you, like, say for instance, a motherfucker about to come break you out. You know something that they don't know, so that gives you the ability to bear it, I was going to get the Wisdom of Solomon, because Wisdom of Solomon chapter 14 and 17 go in to, Ham, because that's what Esau pretty much, he's a culture vulture. He doesn't really have a culture himself, so he, takes from other countries, and that's pretty much, that's why we label him the Egyptian, because he pretty much, took on a lot of customs of the Egyptians. That's where you got, a lot of those Masonic rites are based off of Egyptian origin, But I'm not even going to get into it. At the end of the day, the witchcraft is going to intensify. I was going to do a video on the voice of God, and it's funny because just like a month ago or last month, the Pope was talking about pretty much sanctifying those. I forgot how it's worded. I don't want to use the word sanctify because, these devils is outside the temple. But nonetheless, the Pope was supposed to pretty much saying how demonic or spiritual activity is going to intensify. But they got technology, like one of them called the voice of God, where they can actually shoot direct thoughts and, messages into your mind, and you thinking that you're coming from the Most High God, or like they got this technology because the Most High gave them this technology. You know what I'm saying? Brothers actually know we're following the Spirit because brothers are in all. That's why we talk about the new song. We all singing this same song, and if you're not singing it correctly, then who want a horrible, nerve-wracking, ugly noise? Like, don't nobody want to hear that shit. So things gonna be done if it's the Most High that remove you. But I'm going to end it with this. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, because the Most High God got something planned. And, if you got the spiritual eyesight, you can see it about to, take place. This is the book of Proverbs. And like I said, the same power that's, creating or bringing this destruction is the same power, or the only power that you can basically ask to protect you from it. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 18. And the point is verse 10, and it reads, the name of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and is safe. So how the fuck can a elder tell you that the name of the Lord don't matter? Again, we went into them false pastors, and again, like I forgot what video or what week it was, but the elder said, yeah, they got a lot to pay for, and they do. So if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, commandments of your power, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to called Law Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Chakadas, double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua out there listening and learning. Lord willing, I'm able to come with another lesson next time. Shalom, shalom, and Kwam Yasharallah. Shalom.